Do you want to learn effective ways to build relationships, generate sales, and grow your business from successful entrepreneurs, startups, and CEOs without listening to a long interview? If so, you've come to the right place. Gresham Harkless values your time and is ready to share with you precisely the information you're in search of. This is the I Am CEO podcast.
Hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Dr. Roshawnna Novellus of EnrichHER. Dr. Roshawnna, it's awesome to have you on the show.
I'm excited to be here.
Super excited to have you on. And what I wanted to do is read a little bit more about Dr. Roshawnna so you can hear about all the awesome things that she's doing. And Dr. Roshawnna is a founder and CEO of EnrichHER, a FinTech platform that is disrupting traditional and predatory lending terms through its credit model and lending environment. EnrichHER connects revenue-generating women-led companies seeking up to $250,000 with accredited, non-accredited, and institutional lenders who want to earn cash flow while fueling the growth of women-led businesses. Dr. Roshawnna served on the Commission on Women for the City of Atlanta and was honored as one of the women who means business by the Atlanta Business Chronicle, one of the 40 Under 40 by Georgia Trend, a Halcyon Fellow for social impact, and one of the top 25 disruptors and innovators in tech, and one of the 27 Black founders and investors to watch in 2019 by PItchBook. Dr. Roshawnna, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
I am ready.
Let's do it. You're rocking and rolling. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about what I call your CEO story. What led you to get started with your business?
Yeah, so when I was 12 years old, my mother told me that all women needed to be good at managing money and good at finance. So at that age, she started taking me with her to the investment club meetings at her school. She was a high school English teacher. And so by the age of 15, I understood money. And at that point, I started writing letters to different organizations, telling them about my view and my passion, and ended up raising over $600,000 to pay for my 11 years in college and my 4 degrees. Nice. So fast forward, when I decided to be an entrepreneur, I said, hey, there's this huge problem with underserved founders and money. Like, people don't know how to access capital. There's a lack of diversity and inclusion on the decision maker side on who gets capital. And why don't I do something about it? So in 2017, I decided to reach out to 30 organizations in Atlanta and get their perspective on, would there be a need in the marketplace to bring together different organizations who want to help women? The answer was yes. And then I've been running full steam ahead since then.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. And definitely correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like there's kind of not this awareness that money is kind of like a language, so to speak. And there's a lot of like awareness and information that needs to be known about it, because sometimes a lot of people don't have that basis and that foundation that your mom was able to give you. And when they come across money, or they start to get empowered, or they start businesses or organizations are looking to raise funds, they don't really have that awareness or know how to speak that language.
Yeah, you're exactly right. A lot of people don't realize how many, for instance, grants are available, or city programs are available. For instance, this summer, we received sponsorship from the city of Atlanta to pay full salary for 2 people to work for our startup. And a lot of cities have programs just like this, but a lot of entrepreneurs aren't aware of them. So there are many different ways to use money and programs to your advantage. And it's my mission to help as many people be able to live out their business dreams through as possible. So that's what I'm all about.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that, and appreciate you, just like you said, not just, helping yourself out and being able to get all those grants that you've been able to get and that money, but also reaching out and helping so many others create that awareness and give them the opportunity to also live their dreams as well. So I know I touched on it a little bit. Could you tell us a little bit more about Enricher? Tell us exactly like what you're doing to support the clients and all about the business.
Perfect. Yeah, Enricher helps women grow their businesses through 2 ways. One way is we have a network called EnrichHER Society, which provides a community for women-led businesses. We've engaged over 19,000 people on that side. And we have, in addition to the online resources and networking, we have in-person activations as well. And we're currently doing a nationwide tour in the U.S. For that particular thing. On the funding side, we have a funding platform that provides up to $250,000 to women-led businesses in a variety of industries, all the way from event planners to the wedding industry to high growth contractors to women who make doggy treats. So someone would go to our website, fill out a pre-screened application that asks you questions about your years in business, your revenue, use of funds. And then at the end of that application, we're able to match you with funding opportunities. And some of the people have received the financing in less than 48 hours through our platform. So there are direct funding opportunities on the platform, and the entrepreneur also has the opportunity to do crowdfunding. This is debt-based crowdfunding. Most people think of donations when they think of the word crowdfunding, or now equity when they think of crowdfunding, but we offer crowdfunded loans so that people in your community can lend to your company directly through our website, and you can repay them on a monthly basis. So with the funding option and the network option, our vision is that we provide both the capital and the community that women need to grow their companies.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. It's kind of like an easy button, so to speak, because a lot of people have these great and phenomenal ideas, like you mentioned, everything from dog treats to and everything else all around and in between, but they don't really necessarily have or know how to, I guess I should say, to fund a lot of these ideas, especially if they are capital based. So it's great to hear that, you can go to the website and figure out not just how to do it, but also awareness around the different ways you can create funding.
Thank you.
And you might have already touched on this, but I wanted to ask you for what I call your secret sauce. And this could be for you or your organization, but what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Yeah, so our products set us apart. Most available financing options are only geared toward the high growth company or the company that has a lot of assets, which leaves like the service-based business out, of option. It doesn't allow them to apply. So the hair salon and the IT consultancy can't get a lot of financing from traditional sources. And so we are definitely focusing on providing capital for businesses in all industries. This is especially important because most women actually build service-based companies, and the market itself is excluding them from getting financing. So our secret sauce is providing this financing for all women who have cash flow, but also providing that support and community that we all need. Women really love to network with one another and support one another, and navigating through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship is difficult for all of us. So we provide a safe space for that in addition to the capital.
Nice. I appreciate that, because a lot of times, and just as you kind of touched on, I feel like entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride. And sometimes when you're going through maybe one of the downs, you realize and sometimes feel like you're the only one that's going through that down period. But having that community kind of tap into and to lean on sounds like it, and correct me if I'm wrong, helps out as far as helping people to understand as part of the process and propel forward and keep going.
Right.
Nice. And I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. And this might be an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient.
So my habit is that I do or listen to affirmations in the morning and at night every day. And so it's really important to set your energy before you go out and deal with all the energies outside of your space, right? So you should be in charge of how you feel. I'm really calm right now because I just worked out before this podcast, but it's really important to schedule your self-care and make sure you're in charge of your own energy field before you go out and have your busy day. When you're happy and when you're positive, the people around you are happier. Things tend to work out better for you, and things tend to be more efficient. So it's like a hack to make things go in your favor is to be positive, calm, and happy as much as possible.
Yeah, the saying goes that, everything is energy. So just like you said, if you're able to start that day out on a very positive mindset, everything starts to propel in that same way. Do you find, and this, I know I find this for me, but do you find that sometimes if you don't do that, then sometimes the day doesn't go as according to plan, I guess you can say, and sometimes you can look back and say, hey, I missed doing that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Like the other day, I actually accidentally overslept by 45 minutes. And I was going to skip my affirmations. And then I realized the last time I did that, I was just irritated. I just felt like I was late the whole day. So I
Yeah.
said, you know what? No, I'm going to be a little bit later. I'm going to listen to 30 minutes right now, reset my energy. And then the day went fine. Like the next, something cleared off my calendar, it opened up and everything else worked out swimmingly. So I definitely try my best not to skip, even if my schedule changes a bit.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. It's funny that you say that because a lot of times, even though you're quote unquote behind, sometimes you need peace to understand that things are gonna, fall in line. Just like you said, something pops out off the calendar all of a sudden or needs to get it rescheduled. And then all of a sudden you're right back in pace and you're not off balance anymore.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
So, and now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And this is a word of wisdom or a piece of advice. Or if you can hop into a time machine, what would you tell your younger business self?
So the best wisdom that I could share is to ask people for help. And ask people with different skill sets and different expertise. Don't just ask your friends or your family. Ask people who've either done it or who you would switch places with. But at the same time, remember that you don't have to do anything that someone else suggests. So especially when I was younger, I believed that everyone who gave me advice had more knowledge or more precedence than how I felt about a situation. So for instance, I was on LinkedIn and I was one of the LinkedIn influencers when the platform wasn't very popular like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I would post an article on LinkedIn, I would get 150,000 views or more. And I spoke with a marketing expert who told me, hey, no one ever uses this platform called LinkedIn. You need to stop doing this and go to Facebook instead. And I listened to this person. And Facebook has never, ever worked for giving messages out for financial companies. It still doesn't. And now I let go of my LinkedIn status, and LinkedIn now is recognized as the best platform for finance. It's the platform that most successful people engage on. And I listened to this person who told me that I didn't know what I was doing when actually I knew what I was doing before the time. So I learned a lot from that experience about, going out and finding experts, yet trusting what I knew to be true at the same time.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and a lot of times I'm sure that marketing person probably shaking his head as well. But a lot of times it's great that you mentioned that because a lot of times we already know, but sometimes we don't trust ourselves. And with entrepreneurship and it being such a quote unquote lonely road and trying to make decisions, and sometimes you make a decision without seeing all the stairs or all the steps ahead. You don't really know what's the best decision. But I think sometimes if we look within, we know or have an idea of what the answer is, and we have to kind of listen to that intuition and that small voice we have within us.
Exactly.
Nice. And now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So Dr. Roshawnna, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Being a CEO means someone that can inspire other people and be a leader. And I'll touch on the inspiration part. We are a startup company, which means we had to raise capital from investors. We had to win grants before we had a track record in business that showed that we were successful. And in order to be successful at this process, we had to inspire people and let them know our vision, share our story with them. And if you're really good at those elements, you don't have to have all the proof per se, to get the support that you need from others. So we were able to get support on the capital side, and we're able to get support on the human capital side in terms of people volunteering to be part of our team over and over again. We've had over 30 people raise their hand and say, hey, I want to help you make your vision come true. And I think that to be an effective CEO, people have to believe in you and believe in your ability to lead and inspire others.
Absolutely, yeah. And being able to have that vision and be able to see the forest for the trees and to get a team in place to kind of row that boat, towards whatever that vision might be is huge. So I appreciate that perspective and that definition as well. And Dr. Roshawnna, I appreciate your time even more. And what I wanted to do was pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And then, of course, how best people can get a hold of you.
Well, I would just encourage you to apply for funding or join our community. So if you are a revenue generating business and been in business over a year, feel free to go to our website and apply to see if we can finance you. Our website is IEnrichHER.com, and you can follow us at IEnrichHER on all social media platforms. And that's about it.
Awesome. And just to clarify, you don't have to be located in any specific area to apply, correct?
U.S. only.
U.S. only. Okay, perfect. And we'll make sure to have the link to the website and all the social media platforms in the show notes as well. But Dr. Roshawnna, I appreciate you so much again, and I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Thank you for listening to the I Am CEO podcast powered by Blue 16 Media. Tune in next time and visit us at IAM409.co. I Am CEO is not just a phrase, it's a community. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating. Grab CEO gear at www.ceogear.co. This has been the I Am CEO podcast with Gresham Harkless. Thank you for listening.